Well, I guess between now and God knows when, we're still going to be talking about this regarding Israeli and Hamas. I've been trying to think. Well, right now it's okay. Got to tag it. 7:50 West Coast time, United States, California time. It's October 9th, 2023. We got to identify myself. Okay, we were trying to say Bozeman, California. I'm trying to think. We got about maybe how many people in Manhattan Island? A lot of people, right? 100,000 maybe? Maybe less. I'm trying to think of a mass in the United States that would be equivalent area that would accommodate the population or even the size of it in a way. How I got to get a geographic on this one. Give me 1 second. Okay. Uh, Alrighty. So it's 45. Actually, it's 25 miles long, and between 7.7 to 7.5 miles wide. 25 miles long. Okay, it fit partially in it. Okay, I was trying to think about what about the San Fernando Valley? Would it be equivalent to it? But the San Fernando Valley is 260 square miles, about 670 kilometers. It's a round ovoid surrounded by mountains. Gaza Strip could easily fit into the valley. Spread it out a little bit. Let me see. I need the size of Manhattan. All right. Now, if we're also talking about Island of Manhattan, densely packed, densely populated. I was trying to compare it and trying to see. Okay, so we're talking about 33 and a half square total. We're talking about 13 miles lengthwise. Width is about two and thirds. Gaza is larger than Manhattan Island. Okay. Population. Demographics I need. So, how many people are we talking about? Okay. Since the 2020 census, Manhattan's got about almost 1 million. What they. Okay. By the 2020, let's get the exact figure. I'm reading off of Wikipedia here. 1,694,251 back in 2020. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. Okay. Now, as for the demographics for Gaza, 1.6 million since 2010, almost 20 years ago. Since then, it's gotten worse. Population. Well, it's increased. But they're still stuck with the geography of it. It's a strip of land about 32 miles long and about 3.5 or more than 3.5 miles wide. I mean, hell, you could put that on New York Island. You could. I mean, Manhattan Island is about maybe a little bit smaller, but you could put Manhattan in there. But Manhattan would be just as much packed because they've got tall buildings. So I would think if I'm going to be comparing that with that, okay. Remember seeing the movie Escape from New York? Surely you've seen Kurt Russell movie. And how in that movie that they had barricaded everything around and allowed no growth. Everyone was trapped in this particular island here, walled up like crazy. That's what we're dealing with regarding Gaza. That's what we're dealing with. Everyone have to have their own power system. The problem is with Gaza, they're dependent upon Israelis for life support. It's like one large encampment. And looking how it is compared to what we've got right now. Long Island is a lot larger than that. Hell, Long Island would accommodate size-wise. How do you deal with this? I've been trying to think. Okay, taking all these things in consideration, I was getting way off point in my head on this one. So let me get back on point. Okay, I've got examples. San Fernando Valley, hell of a lot larger, but it can still accommodate both West Bank and Manhattan Island, especially the walled-off area that they had in the movie Escape from New York. It's a size comparison right there. A lot of people compact like crazy. Now, in a regular Democratic situations, now, the walled-off area in the movie was considered a prison, much like Gaza. In reality check, they are integrated into New York. They are part of New York. They are New York, in a sense. San Fernando Valley, I brought up. It's part of LA County, but it's also part of the city of Los Angeles. And this proper city of Los Angeles is basically 3 square miles of the official buildings over there, called the downtown, the high rises and stuff like that. But everything else is part of the city incorporated. And about 25 years ago, roughly, almost 30, somewhere in that time, San Fernando Valley tried to split. They had enough with LA. Not with the LA County, but LA City. They wanted to form their own city, but they never had the votes for it. A lot of interest, but never the votes. They felt that they were getting more taxes paid into the city of Los Angeles, but not getting anything out of it. Sounds familiar out here. I want to see something here. Now, from what Wikipedia would tell me about this thing, let's try the geography, shall we? All right. Total landmass of my own little suburb out here of hell, but it's not that. It's probably nicer than anything else. We got about 52,336 square miles. Yeah, long stretch. I mean, it does. It's encompassing, but still. Let me see what we got. I'm just trying to get what we have. Well, if you happen to look on a Google Maps, you'll see what it looks like. I mean, we've got 52 compared to what Gaza is. And Gaza is only about a strip, about 32. So they could easily fit into our town of Roseman, given about 20 square miles to spare. Hell, we could put it on the east end, actually on the west end of Roseman, and that'd be Gaza Strip out there. I think about 140th or 150th, all the way over to about 90th, or almost up to the 14th. So, a bit of a stretch if I'm trying to put it into my own perspective out here. But imagine having that walled up. I'm imagining it. A lot of pissed off people about it. Walled up, and what happens if our town got walled up like that? Of Roseman. How the hell would we be able to deal with it? I mean, shit, we're not getting that much services over at Kern County anyway. We hardly ever get the sheriff's department. We got a rinky-dink fire department. We got a private ambulance company. That's about it. We have no doctors. We have no ambulances. Actually, we have ambulances, but we have no medical resources except for a pharmacy. And even that gets depleted. We lost an urgent care last year. We're dependent upon the kindness of strangers of Kern County. We're dependent upon the kindness of strangers of LA County, especially the hospitals that they have out there. It's considered out of area, but they're the closest damn thing we got, about 12 to 15 miles away from us. We have an air base, but consider that fenced off right there. So half of Roseman would be fitting the lengthwise, almost, maybe a little bit more, what Gaza would be fitting into us. They have over 1 million plus, almost 107 million, roughly. We don't even have that out here. We don't have that out here. You know what we got for a population? What they measured the last time? Oh, okay, well, we got about 18,000 for the spread out that we have. 18,000 is nothing. It's nothing compared to other places that are tightly compact like that. San Fernando Valley, let me see about that place. Okay. So I'm pulling up the information about it. Demographics. Trying to get the population here. The thing hasn't been updated in a hell of a long while. But from what it says, back in 2012, we were about 1.77 million. We were just about at, well, a little bit more than what the Gaza Strip has in population. We could put Gaza Strip right in the middle of the San Fernando Valley. These guys would be matching population per population at this point. We got the space for the damn thing, but we haven't got the room for it. I mean, you know, without any constructions or anything else we have, basically the valley floor is just, you know, without anything. We could just put the city right in the middle of the damn thing and fill it up with other communities. And yeah, we valley would actually accommodate that damn thing. But right now it can't. Because every space around it, including the mountainsides, are taken up left and right. We got more. Well, it's like 2 million in that place. Just about. Estimating. But it's almost that way for the Gaza. Their population is getting decimated right now. Stupid acts of desperation, and no way of finding out the reasons why. And now we got population density decreased like crazy from Israel. And we don't even know the reasons why. The San Fernando Valley, last as I said before, its only chance to get a cityhood out of a damn thing. And it would have. Had the population, it would have the tax money coming in. It would have to do its own police force. It would have to have the infrastructures for the fire department, which it has. It would have to have a water treatment plant. Well, they got a water treatment plant. They would be importing water from, or actually power from Edison. Metropolitan Water District would be the only source of water coming through. They would have survived. They would have made contracts. They would have their own government. Gaza has shit. So does the West Bank. And the more we keep hearing about it, the more I'm feeling more and more sympathetic to the Palestinian people at this point, and a hell of a lot more pissed off at Israel. I mean, just trying to compare a couple of places I know that would have accommodated both physical and population-wise if our own populations were decreased. But if there were just, in comparison, the San Fernando Valley would be in population comparison to the Gaza Strip. A lot more land space, but we'd have the population there, just not tall buildings due to air traffic and shit like that. We got two major airports. We got Burbank and Van Nuys Airport, municipal, but it's still a major one anyway for transport and supplies and stuff. And Burbank is just basically commercial. Gaza's got shit. Gaza doesn't have anything. Gaza's just got buildings, and that's about it. And pissed off people. Manhattan, the island of Manhattan. Populations and buildings just like, or similar. Different construction codes, but similar to what I'd seen in Gaza. Tall. Compacted. Filled up to the brim. And now decimated. I was trying to make a comparison of how our plight would have been different. What happens if the San Fernando Valley actually went against the city government and against the state of California and the federal government? Let's just say overnight that the San Fernando Valley decided to rebel. Now, granted, we would have limited arms. I mean, LAPD would have a hell of a time, but then we got federal armories in there. We got state militias. They got guns. They got ammunitions. Maybe some heavy-duty artillery, but not much. And what happened is the San Fernando Valley actually became like New York was in the movie of Skip from New York. Well, Manhattan was. Along the rims of the San Fernando Valley, we got the mountainsides, and all the other places out there would be subjugated to whatever kind of government system we would have during that time. All around the bowl. And here comes the other part here. On the southeastern end of the San Fernando Valley, we have Burbank and Glendale area. We have an open area, have an open channel wide strip. Imagine having that walled up all the way from the Santa Monica's to the Angeles National Forest area. And then you would have Tahunga to deal with. Of course, you have to barricade that area too, and close off the freeways on that. I'm pulling up Google Maps on my other lap. I'm watching little girl being a pain in the ass right now. God bless her. She wants to go out, but she didn't do anything last time, so I'm just worried about my dog. Okay, so looking at the San Fernando Valley at this point over here, if I'm going to be putting this on the terrain aspect here, and I'm going to be pulling this up here. On the northeastern side of the San Fernando Valley, that's where the Tahunga and everything else is out there. A nice strip of area, of canyon area. Except when we got the southeastern end, where Burbank and Glendale is. And they would have that walled up. Okay? And they would have the canyons walled up. There are different canyon roads. They would have that closed off. You've got the northern territory of Santa Clarita, Valencia. Those would be shut down. Those would be shut down over there. They would have to deal with their own. We would have access to the Simi Valley. Of course, the Simi Valley would be blocked off. Then we're looking towards the west and the southwest area. A little bit of an overhang. We got the Calabasas. Well, we got to chop off that area. We got to chop off the canyons. In the Malibu Canyon, we got Topanga Canyon. We can chop that off, get rid of the people in there. You got the sprawl against the mountainsides. Well, we got to shove the population back into the center area of the valley. Put up some barriers of sorts. So look out, some posts like that. The 405 would be closed off. And so would the Hollywood Freeway area. In this instance, the whole San Fernando Valley would be Gaza Strip. In density population, and because it's sprawled and low-keyed, but if we didn't have the airports there, I'm not talking about the minor ones. I'm talking about take out Van Nuys and put some more sprawl in there, and you would take out the Burbank Airport. We would be increasing the population in this place more than Gaza has currently. But imagine if that area, that square mileage of area, 52 miles square, was under siege just like Gaza was, or is. Could have been worse. What about the population of Simi Valley? Shall we go see Simi? Yes, I think we should see Simi Valley. Okay. Let's get the information for Simi Valley, shall we? Okay, so we're talking about population at this point. Well, not so much. It's about 126. Last time we had a 2020 census, so it's 126K. Total area mass, we're talking about 42 miles. Not bad. Okay. So it's barely holding 126, about 126K of people. If you happen to look at that in Google Maps, it's a lot smaller than the San Fernando Valley. It's about a third of it. And yet they're only supporting about 126. What happens if they had a little bit more instead of the low level? They actually had 3 or 4, maybe 7-story buildings in there. They would accommodate that much of Gaza. It's almost the same size equivalency of the Gaza Strip. As before, take out the communities surrounding the mountainsides, close off the mountain passes left and right, and put up security checkpoints all over the damn place. That would be the size, roughly, we're talking about for Gaza. If we had put Gaza in there, that's what we'd be looking at. I say that because it's got natural barrier around it. But of course, the natural barrier would need artificial stimulation. We would need to put artificial constructs, towers, gun placements, sensors all around the damn place. And there would be canyon roads leading off. They could be closed off left and right. There's only one freeway going in and out. Shut off that communication. Shut off that pipeline, and that's what you got. Of course, there's actually about two of them there. 118 goes straight through Simi Valley. And there's a bit of a sprawl. Definitely in the mountain regions. Well, we have to close off that area, wouldn't we? Get rid of them. Shove them somewhere else. And just keep the Simi Valley as is. And whatever kind of sprawl we have on the outskirts, we move them out of the way. There's a lot of mountain areas. There's a lot of mountain communities surrounding it. How do you get rid of them all? Shove them into the landscapes, build up the damn buildings. The mountains would be the natural barriers from higher flying planes. To me, that's the equivalent we have out here in California of something of a contained areas. What if it's uncontained? Antelope Valley. We're spread out. We have maybe 2 stories, if we're lucky enough, 3 stories. There's really not that much of a building code out there. Not many buildings out there are actually 2 stories or 3 stories, except for the hospitals. Hospitals got about 5 or 6 stories in them. But because we don't have the air traffic going through the area, except flying above at high altitudes, they're really not worried about high rises, but they're not concerned about it either. They're not dealing with it. Only the low rises and spreading out like crazy throughout the desert floor region. So the Antelope Valley would be like Israel. City of Lancaster and City of Palmdale look like they've got about the same population density crammed into their areas, even though they're a bit spread out. But they look like they can deal with it. Of course, right in the middle of them is an airfield, and a few other recycling areas, patches out there. But in between the cities, we've got an airfield. How dare they? Get rid of the airfield. How would you contain everybody? Build the walls. Build the walls separating Lancaster and Palmdale. In order to do that, we got to do something about the airbase. Airbase is federal government. Yeah, we need to get rid of it. Close it down. Okay, so let's just say we got rid of it. Now we got more space. Now what do we do with it? Shove more people, or actually build isolating walls between City of Lancaster and Palmdale. Of course, you got the little community of Little Rock. Well, Little Rock's going to have to be shoved right into Palmdale. Hard. Let's see, what do we got? Quartz Hills. Well, split apart between Palmdale a little bit, I guess, and then Lancaster. Of course, they're not going to like it. Who cares about that? Rosamond, unfortunately, on top of here, we're isolated. But we're right next to Edwards Air Force Base. So we're going to need to have a wall separating us if we want to live in an isolated community. Of course, Rosamond goes as far as the streets will go. It's about 190. Rosamond is pretty damn far, lengthwise. But when it comes down for width, we're not that big. We're not that big. We're really not. But it doesn't matter. Because, let's see, Avenue A is the separating point. So we extend as far as we can northern-wise. A little larger and wider than the Gaza Strip. Maybe we take out Israel. Maybe we can put Israel in the Antelope Valley. What do you think? I'm going to talk about that one in the next video. I got to take care of She Must Be Obeyed, my dog.